Um, what is your position on abortion?
Well,
on abortion,
Peter, and yeah, sorry, I don't know the last thing you said, honestly. When you cut off, I was so scrambling, I couldn't even
I was talking about health care, about tuitions, about housing. I mean, I was saying a lot of good stuff. I don't know what you guys heard and what you didn't.
You were. Apologize for that. Maybe we'll let you get around to it. But instead, we nailed you with the doozy. Abortion.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, I don't think it's a federal issue. I think it's something that should be decided by the states. But with respect to my personal feeling on it, I mean, if I was the governor of the state of Connecticut, and I would not sign a bill that made it illegal to have an abortion. I mean, I think that the women should have a right to decide for themselves, whether or not they want to carry a pregnancy to term. Although I don't think that it should be absolute. I don't think people should be having third trimester abortions. I mean, but certainly in the first trimester, if a woman finds out that she's pregnant and it's not something that she wishes to do, if she doesn't want to carry a pregnancy to term, if she doesn't want to raise a child, I don't think other people should be able to force that decision on somebody else. But I don't think it's something that the federal government should be involved in. I don't think the federal government should be using taxpayer money to perform or subsidize abortions, certainly if they're taking the money away from people who are morally opposed to abortions. I mean, how can the government take money from somebody who's morally opposed to abortion and then use it to fund an abortion? So, it shouldn't be something that the federal government is involved in one way or another. It should be up to the states. But I don't think in this day and age that there's any state that is, likely to ban abortion. I think there are certain states that might place various restrictions on, they might say that, you need to have, you can't, get an abortion if you're a minor without a parent's consent. I mean, I think the states can formulate their own policies, but I don't think it's any of the federal government's business.
That's a very good answer, Peter. I think that you can't, it's such a touchy issue, and you got to walk such a fine line these days in politics with that one. So I think you're...
Well, the one thing is what I don't understand, and I've talked to some people who say, I'd like to support you, but I can't because you're not, pro-life. And I'm like, pro-choice, pro-life, I understand how divisive it is, and I understand how touchy the subject is. But the reality is, whether somebody's pro-choice or pro-life, nothing is going to change. I mean, they're not, people vote on this issue all the time, but nothing actually comes of it.
Right.
Meanwhile, the country is being destroyed. I mean, we need to, stop this train from going off the side of a cliff. And so instead of focusing on a divisive issue that's really not going to mean anything at the end of the day, nothing is going to change, even if I was pro-life, even if I believe that there should never be an abortion, under any circumstances, even if that was my belief, and you elected me, no, I couldn't, it wouldn't be passed, it wouldn't happen. I mean, it's just, so what's the difference? I mean, why vote on an issue that isn't gonna even matter? But what does matter is the economy. What does matter is do we destroy this country or do we turn the situation around? Let's focus on issues like that once we, righted the ship. It's like, the ship is sinking. We got to plug the hole. Before we worry about, about other things on the ship, we need to stop the ship from going under. Because if it does go under, it's not going to matter, right? If the country is completely broke, if there's massive inflation, if there's, if there's riots in the streets, there's civil unrest, and we lose what's left of our constitutional rights, whether somebody is pro-choice or pro-life really isn't going to make much of a difference.
Well, that's a great answer, and I think it would be really refreshing, Peter, to hear that kind of answer in debate on an issue like that. Let's get people focused on what really matters and not be suckers to these wedge issues that the parties like to put forth.
Yeah, and it's not that it doesn't matter. I mean, it's very important to some people, but you know what? Right now, there's other things that matter more. And someone could say, well, nothing matters more than life. Well, but you know what? What about the people who are already alive right now? I mean, we need to think about the Americans that are alive right now because they are being, their country is being ruined by the politicians in Washington. So let's do something about that first.